good morning or evening or afternoon. I don't know where you live. Hi, everybody. Good day, and welcome to Variant Roll's Saturday morning D&D in Hell. Descent into Avernus. My name's Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. I use he/him pronouns, and I am very happy to have you all here with me this morning. You're all heroes for waking up if it's early or staying up if it's late. Let's go around before we get through all the stuff and introduce our players and characters. Let's start this week with Charity.
Ooh.
Oh, Mike.
Hi.
We're real names, so Mike, sorry. I don't know where I am. It's early for me, if you can't tell.
Hi, guys. I'm Mike. I use he/him pronouns. I will be playing Charity. They use they/them pronouns. If you want to find me anywhere, you can find me on Twitter at EnzoMichael or on Instagram at MikeWhatTheHell. Rock on. Let's go.
Fantastic. Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex. You can find me on the internet at AlexCatu, and I am playing Evie. Evie uses she/her pronouns and is ready to fight.
Yes, she is, particularly because she didn't get to fight with you at the Reigns last week.
Ready
We're happy
to
to have you
fight.
back. Welcome back. Jeremiah.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah, and I play Scribbler, both of which are he/him pronouns, and I'm here to learn people's names.
And I'm here. End of sentence. Last but most certainly not least, Wally.
Hi, my name is Wally. I use he/him pronouns. You can find me on the Twitters at Wally132. I play Julius, who also uses he/him pronouns. And good morning.
Good morning. Fantastic. We are unfortunately down one different player this week. Dobbs is not able to be with us this morning, so Chaos Granny Imba, our goblin artificer, will be run by all of us together. And shout out to the amazing art from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which is what I have up as Imba's character art since Dobbs won't be joining us today. All right. Well, welcome everybody. If you haven't already, and I feel like most of you who are getting up or staying up to watch this particular stream are probably already followers of the channel, but just in case you aren't, hit that heart button at the top of your browser so that you can follow the channel. We have 39 follows left to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, which is like my personal, not at all an official, but I want to see it happen goal. So tell your friends, have them come watch, and hit that little button if they haven't yet. What else? Who wants to give us a recap of... Oh, good. It's also Dan, the channel founder's goal, so we're on the same page. Who wants to give us a recap of at least part of last week's session? I definitely think it should be Alex.
Okay, well, this time last week, I had con crud, and I was very, very sick.
Aww.
I'm still a little sniffly. And that's my recap.
Perfect. We know everything that happened. All right, gentlemen, one of you let us know.
All right, so we wound up in this forest area where we found a bunch of what were the name of those creatures?
Which ones?
The
Barbed devil.
Yeah, barb devils. Yes, we found a bunch of barb devils, and one barb devil was being bullied by a bunch of other barb devils.
Oh no, those were bearded devils.
Oh, those bearded devils. Yes, there we go. Bearded devils.
Right. The barbed ones were the ones that we plucked off of the bike.
Yes, those are the differences too. So we found a bunch of bearded devils bullying one other bearded devil, which is kind of weird because bearded devils are super beefy, so it's kind of like an odd sight to see. But they were bullying one who had a sack, and we decided to help out because one of those bearded devils had one of the rods that Charity wanted to get their hands on. So we did what we could. We killed a bunch of them. We charmed another, and we obtained the rod and a bunch of infernal chickens at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Abyssal chicken.
Abyssal chickens. We got all the abyssal chickens. Charity got their rod. And we also made a new friend in the form of a bearded devil named what was the name of the bearded devil again?
Crickendolt.
Crickendolt.
Yes.
And yes, we called him...
Not have that up. Cricky.
E.
when you asked, like, what do you want us to call you? I was like, okay, well, he can't go by his true name because he's a devil and he wouldn't. And I was like, oh, crikey. No, that's going to make me laugh every time I say it.
Crikey!
Crikey! So
Sorry,
after
Alex.
a nice thistle fried chicken, Charity decided to take it upon themselves to go up into the floating city and see what's going on up there.
I yote.
Charity
Yote
yeeted
self.
themselves. They yeeted themselves up into the sky.
All right. That feels generally
Adequate.
accurate and adequate. Anyone else have anything to add, Charity or Scribbler? There was a particular moment between Charity
there
and
was a
Scribbler that I feel like
particular
one of you
Very
should tell us
particular
about.
moment between Scribbler and Charity in which a deal was struck betwixt the two. A contract was signed, partially in blood.
Right.
Charity
got dramatic and signed it in blood. Scribbler was like, or ink is cool.
Yeah, Charity's got super extra with it.
The deal that was struck, I will leave to our friend who we found out the name of.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
I'll leave that up to you, Jeremiah, to adequately describe.
Well, I think you covered the high points there. The contract made it clear that I would help you acquire the rods up until I discovered that they were being used for an evil purpose, or you were doing it for evil in some manner, in which case all bets were off.
Correct.
Sounds about right. So we'll see how that goes. I can't wait to find out. But in the meantime, as Wally told us, Charity has split the party and gone off to investigate the city floating in the sky. I've lost my page. Here we go. Gone off floating to check out the floating city in the sky. Flew up and just sort of saw that, like, things are not in great shape. You could see from below that the city seems to have been... Oh, I should put the picture of it up. That the city seems to have been sort of split in twain. And there's lots of debris falling from sort of the chasm in the middle of the city. Looks like there are a couple of bridges that are still intact. But overall, it looks like it's not in great shape. Also, you can see that there are humanoid individuals, sort of a few of them out and about, hiding, running, but lots of devils and even some demons seem to have made their way up to the city since it arrived. Who knows why, but they're up there, and many of them are terrorizing the various humanoid creatures that they come across on the surface of this earth-moated floating city. So, Charity, as I recall, you wanted to touch down and see what was up a little closer in. Is that still true?
Yes. Though I will have to possibly make an amendment.
Okay.
Oh, no, I will not. Never mind. We're fine.
Great. I'm glad.
Because disguise self, I remembered, is not, in fact, a concentration spell.
Correct.
So,
yes.
All things...
Oh, you better believe I went and double-checked that when you said that earlier.
Yeah, that's why I was like going up and up.
No, disguise self is not.
Yeah, no, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, disguised as a Cambion devil floating about the city, I am going to go peering about and see what is what. I think I said last week I went down to go and interrogate a lowly devil to see what the word on the ground here is.
Right. So you sort of look around, and there's lots of chaos sort of going on. You can hear some sort of battle sounds, combat sounds coming from off in one direction. You see sort of a series of humans being chased around by various demons, sort of up and down the streets. If it wasn't so sort of horrific, it might be comical. I don't know how you feel about it, Charity. I'm not one to, well, to judge, I suppose. But you do hear, what you do hear are a couple of very clearly and very close by, just sort of around the corner from the street that you've landed on, a couple of cries for help in common. And as you sort of look in that direction, just barely around the corner, just barely in view, you can see two human men that are sort of huddled together, trying to defend themselves as best they can without any weapons or armor, that are being, oh, I should have put a picture of this, that are being attacked by two Bulazau demons.
They're demons?
They're
oh, goody!
Demons. And you can also hear, like I said, some of the battles in other places that you assume involve demons and devils. But closest to you, you see... Yeah, right. I'll work on putting up an image of this while you let me know what's up.
Alright, well, I'm going to go... how far away are they?
Oh, at this point, maybe like 90, 100 feet. And they're sort of around the corner, so you sort of have to poke your head around to really see them at this point. They certainly haven't noticed you.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm flying, I'd like to have a bird's eye view of them, and I'll try
Oh, sure, you can... Yeah, absolutely.
Pop. I'll fire off some Eldritch Blasts in their direction and try and either hit them or at least a shot across the bow. See if I can scare them off.
Sure. Go ahead and make me an attack roll with the Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. That is I think it's an 18.
That was
10 plus 8. Yes, 18.
That'll certainly do.
Cool. That's 2d10. Pop. That is.
Now, are you hitting?
12.
Are you aiming for just one of them? Or are you splitting the beams, or how are you doing this?
You know what? Yeah, I'll fire off the one just because I rolled the one die, and I'll just have it hit the one.
Okay, great.
That'll do 12 points of force damage.
You do even if you're aiming for the same one, you do have to roll separately for every Eldritch Blast beam.
Yes, but I condensed them into the one beam and just rolled all the dice at once.
I see. I understand.
Yeah, so one concentrated bolt of FU at them. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, what was the damage? I was busy trying to get this image of the Bulazau demon up on the screen for our viewers.
He will.
That's a bad boy.
Yeah, 12 force damage.
12. All right. He sort of cries out, and the two of them whip around, and you see the two humans sort of... Now, are you trying to hide again? It's not going to go great, but...
I'm in the air,
yeah.
So I don't know how well hiding's going to be.
Not great. So everyone sort of clocks you. The two humans, their eyes get sort of big, and they look surprisingly hopeful, considering that a Cambion, right? A Cambion devil... demon, infernal, whatever, has come to save them, but there they are. The Bulazau, however, are pretty annoyed.
As they
not
should be.
really sure what they're gonna do, because they can't fly. So they're gonna sort of look angrily in your direction, and one of them is gonna go and just try and grab one of the humans.
I'm gonna pop that one in the head afterwards if I can. Yeah, whichever one's like trying to reach for somebody.
Sure. Go ahead and make me a couple of attack rolls again.
Actually, you know what's interesting?
What's that?
Oh no, I have to be within 15 feet for lightning lore. Never mind. I'll start cresting down.
Okay.
And I'll start just popping off some Eldritch Blasts on my way down.
Okay. How close are you ultimately getting here?
So I'm going to get like maybe 40 feet from them.
Great, fine.
Because my flying speed is 60 feet.
Great.
So I'll just like crest in and pop, and then I'll coast in the rest of the way afterwards.
All right. Go ahead and make that attack roll again. There.
I'm going to split the beams now and fire off one at each of them.
Okay.
The one carrying the human, I will roll first for.
Okay.
That's not good. That is a 13 to hit.
Oh, it glances off the demon's toughened hide.
And the other one, Another 13 to hit.
It also glances off.
2 5s on 2 separate die.
Yikes. Love that. All right, so both of those sort of glance off, but you notice as they glance off, the two humans sort of look to each other. The one that's in the grasp of the demon and the other one sort of look to each other and smile. And you watch as the two humans begin to sort of ripple and shift. And the one that's in the grasp of the demon suddenly breaks out of the demon's grasp, not by sort of throwing its arms to the side, but instead because two very large blood-red wings erupt from its back. And the same thing happens to the other human. And it isn't long before you see standing before you two incubi who in very short order run off these two demons. And they turn to look at you, Charity, and they just sort of smile and incline their heads slightly.
I just say, get back to work. And I turn and start to fly away.
Go ahead and make me a charisma persuasion check. Good.
This is fine.
Yeah,
Persuasion?
that's where we are.
That seems
where we
on.
are.
That seems on product for Charity right there.
Yeah.
Persuasion. Thank God for expertise. 20.
Okay, that will probably be fine, but let's have a little... oh, well, I'm really rolling gangbusters this morning. I'm not. Okay, so their sort of inclined heads turn into slight bows, and they wing off in the opposite direction from you.
I will turn about and wipe my brow and I'm gonna, you know what, just like get boots on the ground now.
Excellent.
I'll start gliding so that I can maintain, all of that movement, that 60 feet.
Sure.
I'll just kind of coast along the ground and try and find some less powerful ones.
Some less powerful ones?
powerful devils.
Okay, cool.
To go and try and menace here.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make me 2 wisdom perception checks, and hang on to those numbers. We're gonna zip down real quick to our party on the ground and see what's up down here.
I'm sure she's fine.
Oh,
I'm sure they're fine. Charity's got this on lock. It'll be fine.
I've always been confident of Charity's skills, but I want to be honest with you. I'm kind of worried. Just a little bit worried.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't. Well, do you really want me to list everything? Because I could list everything that can go wrong right now.
I can actually alphabetize it for you.
I think Imba pipes up at this point and says, "Did Charity leave?"
Yes, Imba. Charity left not too long ago.
Busy crying into the chicken.
No.
Well then. Okay. Well, I suppose I'll start making notes on my in my journal.
Great.
Evie's saying all this while just doing push-ups.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Julius is taking the leftover chicken and wrapping them up for week prep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, great. And Imba is
A
tinkering
piece of
at
chicken
something.
jerky.
Yes. And Imba's tinkering at something. Lord knows what. We'll find out soon enough. I have no doubt.
Scribner, do you happen to have any kind of spell that we could reach out to Charity?
I could ask him a question, or ask them a question, rather. Sorry. But I can only do that so often.
All right, well.
They did fly off to a floating city that may or may not be full of things that want to kill them.
It hasn't been too long yet, I will say. It's probably
Yeah.
been maybe 10 minutes since they left.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah,
We don't get worried till at least 45 minutes.
I say we wait till at least 30 more minutes, then we can start to work. Now, I am going to start preparing this chicken up for some jerky that will make us last the week.
Question. You said it's been about 10 minutes?
Sure.
Oh!
Okay, no, but that's fair because Charity would be keeping an eye on that. So we'll say it's been about 5 minutes then.
It's
Oh, yeah,
hardly
we're
any
not
time at
worried.
all.
And I'll be like, I'll check my wrist.
Yeah.
It's about time I head back down.
We'll come back to you because you may run into someone on the way back, but we'll come back to you.
Cool.
All right. Anything else from our ground crew? I just I do love finding out what you all are doing in the slower moments because it always makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, he's just like taking the chicken that was cooked and stripping them up and preparing to make him into jerky for the rest of the week because he set it up into individual piles, like one for Imba, one for Scribner, one for Charity, and the one for Evie is really, really large because she goes through protein like a beast.
Oh yeah. And Evie's moved on to one-handed push-ups at this point.
Oh yes, yes. And
Scribbler's
just
moved on to one-handed
things are
notes.
flying.
Yeah, Scribbler's calmly writing some notes.
Occasionally ducking as a part from one of the war machines come flying by that Imba has tossed. I love it. All right, so back up to the floating city. Charity, you notice that it's getting nigh on time to start heading back. You've got a couple of minutes before you fall from the sky before you're able to get back down to the ground, but you got a couple of minutes. How are those perception checks?
It was an 11.
Okay.
And a 22.
All right. So you take a few moments, you look around, you only see demons, and you spot a couple of fairly powerful devils. You spot a Narzagon on their nightmare mount, but that's like a good and powerful devil that if you're looking for less powerful ones. Yeah. So you sort of begin to fly back towards the edge of the city to get back down, and just as you are heading in that direction, we're sort of keeping an eye out, and you're looking around, and here we go, and you do spot a couple of imps sort of flying around and harassing some halflings on the street and just sort of chasing them to and fro. They don't actually seem to be sort of causing that much damage. They just seem to be delighting in tormenting this little party of halflings.
I'll hiss at one of them in Infernal, and I'll beckon them. One of them, at least. I'll just point glaringly at one of them.
Absolutely.
And
go ahead and make me a charisma persuasion. You can have advantage because currently your form is definitely superior to that of the imps.
Cool. Persuasion?
Please.
21.
Excellent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they sort of look at each other and they look real disappointed. And then they do the infernal version of rock, paper, scissors. And whichever one loses goes flying up to you, and the other one continues to torment the halflings.
Perfect.
So it flies up to you. It sort of hovers and has its head down. Won't quite meet your eye, but doesn't say anything.
What is the status of the city?
And the imp sort of looks up at you and looks around and says, bad. Very bad. Yes, very bad. Still haven't found a good way up for large legions. Can't quite take it yet. Lots of devils. Working on it. Working hard. Very hard. Working very hard. Very hard.
I'm sure.
Sort of throws a longing glance back down at his friend who's tormenting the halflings still.
Well, when you get done over there, give notice. I have one of my underlings coming up soon. They're a golden tiefling. Give them word when you are finished. And I'll just give him a backhand across the head and let him fly down.
he's already sort of started to turn to go back to the halflings, but like
That's
didn't want
when
to
I
fly
slap
away
him.
before
Yeah.
you gave. Yeah, and so he sort of cries out, but then flies down and continues to. And again, like they're not actually hurting the halflings because that would sort of end the fun quickly. They're just like
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
And I'll be like, phew, and I'll zip down.
All right.
I'll like double dash my way back down,
All
which
right.
should only take me like 20 seconds
Yeah,
at
yeah.
most.
Yeah, so you get down and you've got, a minute or two left before things begin to wear off. So
And I'll just kind of like glance at myself while I get down. I'm like, I do really like this.
all right, so we have reunited the five of you.
So, what did you find up there exactly?
Oh boy. There's some powerful friends up there.
Powerful, as
And
in...
not friends. Not friends. Not our friends.
Okay, because I hope that would have helped us out, but if they're not powerful friends, they're just powerful who boys, as you put it, then that doesn't benefit us at all.
They are in
Did
fact
you
who boys. Yes.
Discover the nature of what is pulling it down? I mean, why they are able to do that?
Yes. With the 5 minutes that I had up there, I discovered the entire length of the city. No.
Wouldn't it be gravity?
Well,
I give
chains-
Evie a
chains
piece of chicken
mostly.
jerky. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like chains are pulling this thing down. No, I have no idea what the city is. No, I have no idea where. I mean, I have a good guess as to where it came from, Faerun. But, yeah,
But we
there's
don't know where from Faerun. That's the question.
no.
But that's like a material plane city, right?
Yes.
Material plane shops and bars.
and now we
Evie?
get to the heart of it.
And I just I put a hand on Evie's shoulder. Evie. That place, that whole big old chunk up there, that thing is ripped in half.
Just, uh-huh.
There are devils
and?
in every corner and demons in every other spot where devils aren't.
So it's like down here,
Mhm.
but with prime
But
material
up there.
plane food.
Where they have ripped everything to shreds already.
So it'd just be scraps.
Are you saying there are no survivors?
No, there are survivors. I mean, they're mainly being tormented by tiny little imps. But there are demons up there in which actually might suit us if we head up. I mean, if we make it up there, there are, people that are being harried. If we try to aid them, they might be of some use to us in finding out where we're coming from, or they're coming from.
How would we get up there, though? I mean, you can just
I mean,
up there, but the rest of us,
Evie, you bulk out. Yeah, you.
I
your
can be
thing.
a big lady, yes.
I
Big
juice
lady.
you up. You carry us. I mean that. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work out too well. But
I can
like,
become a large size.
at least one of us could get on your back, and you can
Yeah.
carry Imba, of course, easily. But like,
Easily, but probably you also.
I mean, I'm tiny, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And probably Scribbler too.
he is
Captain,
frail.
I'm not sure.
I am.
I mean, here's the thing. All of us would be rough going. I mean, I've had my fair share of seeing what's going on up there. And like, maybe you guys should get a look. I feel like you're probably better at investigating this sort of thing than I would be. I'll tap you in, Evie. You carry the lot of them up, and I'll just sit here and watch the car. Does that sound good? Because if I go up there and I am struck, all of you fall. Whereas if
Oh.
I am sitting in the car, in cover, I can make sure that I don't get hit. And that way I can maintain that concentration for you so you can get up there smoothly.
I think I may
Wow.
be able to actually send any people trapped up there back to the prime material plane.
What?
I could only do it one at a time.
What?
So it would take time to save that many people, but I could do one at a time.
Not to be the aforementioned spit in the breakfast, but
Ew. What? What?
Where does one come up with such a...
On a ship where
Ew.
people
On a
are
ship.
rude all
What?
the time.
So Charity's just like, yeah.
But what exactly purpose does this serve us to help these people get out of the city? They're not going to pay us, and we don't get any notoriety from it or anything.
I mean, you get a sense of feeling like you've done something. I don't know. I'm doing this for Scribbler, honestly.
Sense of feeling good? No, I don't want that.
This wasn't for you. I'm
That's
sorry.
what I thought.
This
I
wasn't made for
understand.
you. I know. This was a do good out of good.
Fine, if you want a selfish reason, being able to communicate to people on the material plane by sending people back might be useful.
Also, Captain, as we do know from many salvaged ships that are sunk, even a plundered ship might serve some use in finding treasure that others haven't yet.
Fine.
I know. I'm
fine.
always right.
Fine. I suppose we could venture up there and investigate and see what we can find out of there. But if we don't
Maybe
find
people
anything, I
get
think we should come
paid.
back. Yeah, suppose so. And if we don't find anything, we are going back down here. Are we clear?
Yes. Keep I don't know if you have like a sort of hourglass on you.
I look at
Scribbler.
Scribbler.
You're
Yeah, I look
good
at Scribbler.
keeping time and things like that. Make note, 10 minutes, no longer.
10 minutes.
You got maybe 9 before it starts really coming down on you. So like make your way over as like 9 minutes. Unless you guys just want me to chill, you guys go up there for an hour or so. I'll meet you up there.
I can actually help people fall without hurting themselves.
That's good. I don't know what we can accomplish in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we can't really accomplish.
So you
much
know
in
what?
10
Just
minutes.
head on up there. Take your time, spend an hour up there. I'll meet you up there. How's that? Sound good? You guys have an allowance. Feel free. Don't spend it all in one place.
Oh,
Have an
yeah,
allowance?
I really feel
We're
like this
getting
is-
paid?
No, we're not. We are not getting paid.
In plunder. You got to go up there to get it though.
I really
Alright,
feel like
Evie?
this is
High
not
five.
going to end well.
And I cast fly on Evie.
And I will, with that, feeling myself become quite lightweight, delightfully light. I
Lightweight,
will activate the giant might rune.
Excellent. And so Evie hovers off the ground and then begins to grow and enlarge. And you have giant hovering, Evie.
And begin.
I love this. I love this
I'm
more than I
gonna
can describe.
I'm
collect my
gonna
friends.
do my free cast of bless. So she's got an extra D4 to roll for
Yes.
strength checks.
I'm assuming I'm gonna have to make a strength check here if I'm collecting
Well, yeah. So
both of my friends.
I'll also put one of the 3 on me and the other one on Julius, I guess.
great.
Yeah, why not?
Smart choice.
And I think if it's, I mean, is the assumption Imba is coming with you or not?
I think Imba's probably gotten lost in the insides of the machine at this point.
I love that.
Yeah,
answer. Yes.
Yeah, I think we
Sure.
decide the machine.
Also,
We can
I would
see,
rather
we can
not
see, like,
bring
her
along
ankles.
just in case.
Like,
Yeah.
Granny, are you done down there?
Now.
All right. You want me to get you some more chicken?
Now. Oh, yes.
Was that a yeah, no, or
Mhm.
no, yeah?
No,
Or
yeah.
not, yeah.
No, yeah.
No, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
nah?
Yeah, nah. I'll get
Hey,
you
you're
some more.
speaking my language.
Yeah.
And I'll let them do that, and I'll just scout for some abyssal chicken, and I'll pop some of them with Eldritch Blasts. I'll just go.
I'm not sure if there are any in this area, but we'll see that in a moment. While these 1, 2, 3 fly up towards this floating city. Scribbler, as you get a little closer, do me a favor, make me a wisdom perception check and then an intelligence arcana check, please. Any of you can do so, I suppose. Actually.
All right.
I am going to not.
Great.
Intelligence Arcana or...
Start with the wisdom perception, and then after that, give me an intelligence arcana. And actually, Evie, will you make me a strength athletics?
Okay, wisdom perception.
With bless.
I got a 15 on the perception.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I got a 20 on the perception.
Okay. Julius.
Yes.
Did you say 30?
15. 15.
No. Sorry, Evie got a 30 on her athletics check. Excellent.
What?
Julius, make me an intelligence investigation check. I will get back to you in a
Investigation?
moment. Uh-huh.
Got it.
Big lady.
16.
Big lady. Okay. And let's just see what Scribbler gets on his intelligence arcana check.
27.
All right. Okay, so, Julius, thing that you notice, you can see, as you all fly up a little bit closer, you get a better look at that sort of black lightning sun in the sky. And as you look at it, you can see that there are sort of... Goodness, what was that? Around the sort of equator, if you will, of this black sun, you can just barely make out these sort of what look like indentations at first, but as Evie flies a little bit closer to the city, you can see they're actually holes on the equator, evenly spaced holes on the equator, and you can't be sure, but they sure do look like they're about the same size and shape as the rods that you all have in your possession. Scribbler, getting closer to this thing, you sort of get a read on, even without, a detect magic or an identifier or anything like that, this thing is just oozing magic. And you get the sense that this black sun has something to do with A, how the city got here, and B, why it is, in fact, still here.
So how many holes
well,
are there?
From where you are, you can see, maybe 3 or 4 or something, but they're sort of around the equator of the sphere, so, it would not be unreasonable to assume that there are more of them on the other side.
Right. So I look at Scribbler.
Sorry.
Right. I look at Scribbler. Do you see those holes on there, right?
Yes, clearly part of the enchantment holding the city here, actually.
They look like the rods we've got could just slide one right in there.
I wouldn't do that until we had all of them.
Oh, no, I think that's probably much the plan, but do you think, maybe, now just hear me out, we could use those rods to perhaps liberate this city?
Quite possibly.
Huh.
I have an important question.
Oh, what is your important question, dear friend?
For our game master, actually.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Can I now have a song from Soundgarden playing in the background?
Black Hope. I was literally just about to get that. I was gonna be like,
It was in my head the entire time.
Should come.
I think you can sing it, Mike, if you want to continue. I think if we don't have the rights, because we end up putting this up on YouTube, we should probably steer clear of music.
Yes.
So,
But I think referencing it, now it's all playing in our heads, so the effect
Yes.
is the same.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
and
didn't
with
think
the
of that.
10% usage,
That's very good.
yeah, with the 10% usage, we can probably badly sing the chorus and be okay.
We could. That's how it works, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know 10% of most songs, so that just works
Yeah.
perfectly.
Well,
And
fair.
badly, too. So, like, we're in.
I love it.
I think hockey is fair use, right?
Totally. All right, so those are the things that you two notice about the Black Sun up there while Evie is flying you in. Now, Evie, where are you headed? What's the plan here?
Plan?
I mean, as I said it, I realized. So let's see.
I'm just flying towards the city, probably singing under my breath a little.
Absolutely. So from where something rousing. So from where you fly up, you all are sort of on what looks. I mean, it's well, cardinal directions are somewhat useless, but we'll call it the northwestern side or corner of this city, sort of near a couple of the big chains that are pulling this thing down. You can see, I mean, for the most part, as Charity told you, the city is sort of in shambles. You see demons and devils running around, and the occasional humanoid refugee. You see a couple of bridges spanning a couple of bridges spanning the gap between the two parts of the city. Other notable things that sort of stand out, you can see what looks like it probably used to be either the seat of government for the city or some sort of important building sort of towards the center of the city, what's left of this fairly ruined sort of fortress-looking place. There's a cemetery down south a little ways from where you are. And sort of on the far side of the city, you can just make out like a big, what looks like it was once maybe a marketplace or something, sort of a big open pavilion.
Now that I'm in this city, do I recognize it? Is there any, like, thing I
now that
recognize
you all
it?
can see it, that's right. Why don't you go ahead and make me another intelligence history check? Those of you who are from Faerun.
Or have lived there.
Have lived there. Yeah.
14.
Okay.
11. No.
27.
Okay. All right. Blessed be. I'm tired of calling it the city.
Hold on.
Oh, roll your bless.
30.
There it is.
Oh, that's right. Bless.
So you get
Yeah.
up there, and actually you see the high
16.
hall, and that's sort of what clicks it for you, Scribbler. This is the city of Elturel, and everything sort of comes crashing into place as soon as you see the high hall, and you realize that the black sun hovering above the city is clearly what used to be the companion. And with a 30 on your history check, you know all about the companion, the abbreviated version of which is that years ago there was an undead invasion of the city of Elturel, and through some devout prayers to various gods, this sphere, this artificial sun, this whatever it is, appeared above the city. No one's really sure where it came from, what god, if indeed it was a god, bestowed its protection upon the city, but it burned brightly like a sun day and night, keeping out the undead from the city and saving and protecting Elturel in that moment. It seems like the times they are a-changing, for because now it's definitely not shining like a sun. But anyway, this is in fact the city of Elturel.
This looks like a city to me.
I'm just flying at it.
Wait, you're
That's a
flying
big
towards
rock.
the big ball?
No, just to the city. I suppose I'm going to
oh.
try and aim for somewhere that's like...
I point out the hall that the religious center of the town, and say perhaps there would be a good place to a good place to investigate.
Okay.
Probably a charity box there or something, yeah.
No.
Don't you do it. Just, that's right. Picard your way out.
I must
The
have
charity
missed
box
something.
is down below us, actually.
That's what we call the
All
car. That's what I'm calling the car now.
The charity box? Oh no.
People just keep depositing coins.
I love it. All right, so Evie, are you indeed heading towards the high hall?
Yeah, if that's what Scribbler says. I don't know what this is. I'm just delighted to be large and flying.
Absolutely. So it's pretty
Best day
easy
ever.
to. Oh, hey, thanks for the host. It is pretty easy to wing your way in that direction because it is up on a bit of a hill and the most prominent building. It's not in good shape. Much of it has collapsed, but you can see sort of in the center the cathedral that sort of is in the center of this fortress is in, I will say, the best shape of any of the other parts of the building, but that's not saying a ton. So you can sort of set down anywhere in the courtyard around the cathedral, or I suppose on rooftops in the cathedral that you desire.
Rooftop or courtyard?
Courtyard, probably.
Courtyard?
I guess
Is the courtyard looking pretty clear?
Yeah.
It actually does look strangely quiet at the moment. Yeah, so nothing going on.
Holy
in there.
ground. Oh, pop us down. Right up against the cathedral in the courtyard.
All right. And so there you are. And it is sort of, once you're down in and among sort of the walls that are surrounding the fortress in general and in this courtyard, it's a little quieter here. You can still hear the sounds of the rest of the city, but it's a little quieter in here now.
It's very peaceful and quiet here compared
That
to.
was great.
Well, thank you for the lift, by the way, Evie.
Indeed. I imagine that the host hall here would be the most defensible location and the best equipped to survive what's going on, given the sheer number of clerics and paladins that would certainly be based out of this place. That was my thinking anyway.
Well, Let's see if anyone's home then. Is there like a door going inside to this building?
No doors. Weirdly, yes, of course, there's a door going into the door. Yeah, there's a big set. I'll say you sort of set down towards the front of the building because the courtyard does go all the way around. But there's a grand staircase sort of leading up to the main entrance of the cathedral.
All right, so I'll head up towards that main entrance,
Yep.
Being kind of quiet, making my way up,
Okay.
and then going to knock on the main entrance if there is a closed door. If
Yeah,
not,
so
just
there's
to
this
open it
sort
up.
of enormous, so there's this great big archway at the top of the stairs with these enormous stone double doors that are sort of carved. You can see in the center is what is clearly a representation of the companion that's sort of right center in between the two doors, so it would split exactly down the middle when the doors are opened. And all sort of around it are all manner of warriors and what look like paladins. They have holy symbols on their armor and their shields, and they're all sort of bowing to the companion, or bowing in the presence of the companion.
Yeah, Evie will fall in line. As soon as she takes one step, she goes back to being normal sized, which is still pretty big, but
Yeah,
normal
absolutely.
sized. The spell doesn't last for that long.
Sure.
I can still fly though. I'm just not large anymore.
Correct. Yes.
I'm going to take a very bouncing kind of low gravity step in line.
I love it.
All right, I'm going to go to the front door and try to push it open.
Yeah, and they are clearly, sort of well built and seem to have been, so far at least, untouched in terms of damage. And they sort of swing open relatively easily and quietly.
Right.
That's not a good sign, actually.
You can see beyond. You're in this sort of entrance hallway that extends off far to your left and to your right, and down this hallway on each side are four enormous columns that sort of are holding up the ceiling in this area, and one of them. You can see just to your right, the column has been carved to represent... Actually, why don't the three of you, as you walk in, give me intelligence religion checks? Let's start with Scribbler.
Checking
Yep,
just
that's okay.
religion.
Please.
20.
All right. Julius
15.
and Evie.
13.
Okay, I do actually think that that is enough because this is not an obscure god in any way. That this column is carved to represent the god Torm, which makes sense, Scribbler, particularly for you, remembering that many of the protectors and paladins of El Turel were dedicated to Torm. But as you look to the left, you can see the column nearest you as you enter on the left. Strangely seems to be carved to represent a beautiful, large, winged female devil wielding this enormous shining sword. But very clearly infernal in nature, the devil is.
I mean, I'm not a man of religion because I don't have that kind of money. But that doesn't look like something you see in a church.
No, that looks a good deal like what I would expect Zariel to look like these days.
All right.
I've never actually seen her devil form. We've seen her angel form, though.
No, we have seen her angel form. But I guess this is the
That's a
first
cool
time.
thing to have seen.
You know,
You know?
yeah, I suppose it is. Oh,
I agree. That is indeed an advantageous thing to see in one's life.
So as I said, you can see there are 4 pillars sort of going down this hall on either side. Directly in front of you, maybe 25 feet ahead, are a couple of smaller doors that look like they lead deeper into the cathedral.
is there a donation box?
Not out here.
Okay, I guess I'll just keep on going.
I'm actually somewhat offended by the presence of this, and it
The
does
cathedral in general, or the
He's like, oh.
the column.
Got it.
Right, the column in the cathedral.
Got it.
That does not belong here. This indicates that a reverence for a devil that would not have been acceptable in this place before it was dragged to hell. So that is a recent invention. And I do find that it offends my sensibilities.
Mine eye. Struck by this visage.
So I cast Shatter.
Ooh, I like it.
Ooh.
Oh,
All right.
Okie
No
dokie.
save. Roll that damage. I believe it takes double damage. Am I thinking of the right spell?
It's an object.
Yes, inanimate objects.
Yeah.
I'm looking absolutely delighted at the fact that Scrivener is taking part in Anarchy.
Unless they're magical, in which I believe they take no damage. Or partial damage.
Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Constitution saving throw. This and this and this. A non-magical object also takes damage if it's in the spell's area. All right. Roll
Takes
that
damage, but
thunder
it's- yeah.
damage.
All right. I pull up my D8s.
Tear it down. I'd say burn it with fire, but that doesn't seem like the solution in Avernus.
20 points of damage?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, the column still stands, but you certainly take a good chunk out of, particularly the area that has the likeness of who you assume to be Zariel, just, shattering that area, destroying the likeness.
And he doesn't, when Scribbler casts, it's not like he's lashing out. He doesn't look like he's angry. He just calmly points and enunciates the spell as he points his staff at the place, and then goes back to what he was doing.
I love that. And so the rest of you see Scribbler point the staff, and just an explosion of dust and small shards of rock. And when that stone dust clears, you can see that the likeness of the winged devil has been removed from the column.
That's right, Scrivener. Break some rules once in a while.
Desecrate some churches.
Oh, well.
What have the church done for us lately?
Oh.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That doesn't belong in this church. That is a desecration of this church.
Yeah, I guess that's also true. Anyway, let's see here. Now, if this has been some kind of, I don't know, bastion of peace and safety. But yet here we had this ugly visage that you obviously destroyed because this was placed in here.
I suspect that it is somehow tied to how this ended up here in the first place. It might be
So
why.
it was a clue?
I suspect that somehow Zariel may be involved. I don't know how yet, but I also think that's why we don't find the champions of good that I expected to find here. If they saw that appear in place of something else, they might have left.
Here's my question. That gigantic ball thing above us, what did you say it was called again?
The companion.
Right. And the companion was created by people praying and asking for help, right?
That is the assumption. I believe someone even claimed that they specifically were the ones who prayed to a god and got it.
So now that we saw this image of infernal, maybe fallen angel in this church where the companion resides nearby, do you think that maybe someone in this church perhaps, I don't know, prayed to this infernal creature to use the companion to bring this thing down here, maybe?
We do not have enough evidence to know for sure, but that is not an impossible supposition.
It's a possibility, I mean.
Certainly. It has a range of possible outcomes that could lead to that, yes. However, we should find some actual people who were here and ask them.
All right, well, let's try to find some people then. I'm gonna venture further into this main hall.
Further into to the left or right where the columns are, or you want to go towards the doors that go deeper in?
I'm gonna go towards the doors.
Okay. As you get closer to the doors, it no check required, is very obvious. These doors have been broken open. It looks like they were latched or held closed in some way, and something just sort of burst through them. They're still on their hinges, they're still intact, but you can see sort of at the door jamb where something has been broken, but they're both shut now.
Okay. I'm going to push one door open and peek inside.
As you push, something on the other side sort of gets in the door's way, and you can't really... I mean, you can certainly... you can do a strength athletics check if you want to sort of force it open, but it doesn't swing open easily.
I go to push, and I kind of feel that brace against it. I pause, and I give a little rap against the door, and I go, hello? Anyone on the other side here? We're not any big, crazy, evil devils here to cause you any harm. Just a bunch of people here wondering what's going on around here.
I really wish there was someone on the other side of that door to hear that particular speech, but unfortunately you get no response.
All right.
Give
Evie,
it a shove.
Evie, give it the old college try and open up this door, please.
Gonna
I'll
give it a
take
shove.
that. Strength athletics, if you would.
Yeah.
Evie comes up. Or is Evie still moon jumping?
Yes, Evie Moon jumps up to the door.
I am fairly
That's
confident that
a-
Evie has not attended college.
22.
You're right. It's a what? A 22, you said?
22.
All right.
Do I still have Bless? Or is Bless single use?
It's not a single use. It's a minute or 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes, you still got it at this point.
I think.
23.
It's coming close to the end, but... 23. Okay, so you're able to shove the door open, and it really only opens about halfway. And as you sort of poke your head in to see what was stopping it, you see that the reason that the door does not continue open is because you've shoved aside the bodies of 2 guards. That were sort of right behind the door. And as you look to your left, where the other door is, you can see that it is also blocked by another 2 bodies of what look to be guards for the cathedral. They're dressed in armor that is emblazoned with the holy symbol of Torm.
Sorry, buddies.
They don't look good, I will say. They have been They've been pretty well eviscerated by whatever killed them.
Oh,
Sorry, buddy.
I take my hat off and I hold it over to my heart. Give a little bit
I
of
shove my
notice
way through.
sounds.
Yeah. Sorry, buddies, and
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, buddies.
And
I'm
So-
going to jump over them.
yeah.
this room beyond is sort of what looks like a large, grand sort of foyer area. There are 6 pillars, 3 to the right and 3 to the left that you can see. And most notably, there are 2 large circular stairwells that lead upwards. And then at the far end of the room, across from where you've come in, are these enormous red curtains that sort of block off this area from whatever is beyond.
Okay. Head up those stairs.
Indeed.
All right. Heading up the stairs, you can sort of see up above that it looks like it's some sort of like balcony seating area maybe for the cathedral, or like a choir loft area. And as you climb the stairs, you do indeed see that this appears to be a choir loft. You see some sort of pews on either side, with sort of the little wooden table in front of them. But the most notable feature about this area up here is the enormous, magnificent pipe organ. It's the ivory keys of the manuals practically glow, and the ebony keys of it sort of absorb the light. It is all polished to a shine. It is in remarkably good shape considering what you've seen in some of the rest of the building and the rest of the city. And it is truly a magnificent instrument.
Oh,
I think this is kept in such a good condition despite everything that's going on.
I should also say, behind you, you can also very easily see that sort of the balcony ends here, and you can see down into the area that was beyond the curtains, which seems to be sort of the sanctuary central altar area. You can see an altar sort of in the center of the area on a raised dais, and some pews and such around, but that's below you all.
Just almost a shame that Charity isn't here. I think they would enjoy playing some music.
No.
Meanwhile, back on the ground floor.
I don't know why. I always do this when I run games on stream, in person, whatever. I always forget to tell you all where the doors leading to other areas are. There are 2 curtains on either side of the pipes of the organ that seem to lead deeper into this level of the building.
It looks like the curtains are the only way we can proceed further in. I'm gonna look behind one of the curtains.
Yeah, so behind the curtains, sort of a little hallway area behind there, you can see what look like two sort of circular rooms, and you can actually see into them because they don't have doors. They look like turrets that you saw on the outside, and they have like arrow slits in the outer facing walls. Nothing much to see in the one that you're looking at,
Like
anyway.
both of the curtains just kind of lead up together to form one hallway.
So there's one on the right and one on the left. They both connect into a hallway, and there are turrets. There's a turret on the right and a turret on the left.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right. I look back and I tell that these hallways lead to I guess guard post turrets that people use for fortifications. That's about it that's back here.
It does lead to the question where people have gone.
Well, I'm guessing maybe, that's probably what happened.
We found only 4 bodies. This is a large city.
This is also true. Oh, you're smart and you're a wizard. Don't you have book radar?
Book
What?
radar.
Book radar. I mean,
What?
Yeah.
book radar.
Book dar.
Yes. Yes. You can look around for literature, and that's probably where everyone is at, in some fortified library down here, probably. They have those here, right?
Yeah. I like a crypt.
I imagine that the church in general does have a library somewhere. Book radar. I will certainly need to endeavor to develop such a spell. But no, such spells do not exist. I suppose an execution detect object, maybe? But I would need to know the specific. At this point, Scribbler goes off and starts. Right. Make some notes. Right.
It's that gif of the woman with all of the equations.
But they're all just books.
Right.
Yeah.
Charity, I promise I'll get back to you shortly.
Well, it looks like we can't go any further up, though. We have to go back down there.
Let's go back down then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although isn't Charity coming up to meet us?
I did say you guys take an hour up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I meant downstairs. We're upstairs right now. I'm not suggesting we should jump off.
I mean, we could.
We could.
But we shouldn't, because that would be dumb. I'm actually
But quicker and cooler.
I am actually going to look around and see if I can find anywhere in this place a teleportation circle.
Sure. I will assume that you're keeping an eye out for that specifically. And if at any point it comes up, I will be sure to let you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just head back down the way we came, the boring way.
Yeah, we'll certainly look and see if we can find any people in the city. We've got time, and as long as we're cautious, we should be able to acquire first-hand intelligence as to the overall dispensation of the residents of this metropolis.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, I'm gonna head back down the stairs. I kind of longingly looked to see if there was any kind of like chandelier or curtain that I could have jumped down and slid down my way down on to get to the ground level of the floor.
I love that, but I don't think there is by the pipe organ's balcony.
How far down is it?
That's a good question. Probably about 15, 20 feet. I don't think it's that far. Hang on, let me see.
For the record, we are out of bless range at this point.
Yes.
Can Evie still fly?
20 feet. It is 20 feet.
Evie, can you still fly?
Sure I can still fly. Has it been 10 minutes?
It has not been 10. So how was the bless 1 or 10 minutes?
1.
Okay, so the bless is definitely done. The fly is coming to an end, but you've got time.
I jump into Evie's arm, Princess Carrie style.
Yeah. And I jump off the balcony and float us down.
Yes, I love it. I love everything about it.
I walk down like
Exactly where I
a sentient being.
Absolutely.
I do this as I go down.
Okay, and so if you're going from the balcony, then you two are actually going to land. If you're taking the stairs, you end up where you were. If you're jumping off the balcony, you two are actually going to land on the other side of those great big curtains in the area of this sort of central altar area that I mentioned before. So it's a pretty large area. There are some private chapel-looking things to your left and your right, and then there are more curtains sectioning off even more area of this level, sort of right in front of you.
Look around. So this is like basically like a traditional altar here.
Yeah, so it's made of again, like, and it's in pretty decent condition. This beautifully polished teakwood altar right in the center. It's in the shape of a gauntleted hand clenched into a fist, which of course is the symbol of Torm. And you can see standing next to the altar, there's a big old lever, suggesting that the altar has some sort of mechanical function to it. You know,
I look at the lever, but before I pull the lever, is there any images of infernal angels also in here, like there was in the...
Oh, like there was before.
Yeah.
No, all of this looks like it is still
Okay.
Torm related.
Okay. And my next question, is there any donation boxes up here?
I feel like there would have to be. So yeah.
I kind of just like, I'm looking around at this and trying to make sure do this before Scribbler gets over to this area and make my way over to the donation box and try to pry it open.
Oh, I'm just gonna. Can I just yank the lock off? I see what the captain's going for, and I'm just gonna.
Thank you, Evie.
Yeah, make a strength athletics check. You all are monsters, and
Ooh, 26.
Oh my god, yes! You ripped the front of the box off. A few silver and copper pieces spill out onto the ground.
I pick it up and I give Evie her share, and I take my share. I'm really hoping this is like right when Scribbler walks in.
Right, so Scribbler, you were walking down the stairs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you knew that they were going to be landing on the other side of the curtains. Are you going to go follow them to that side, or are you just going to wait for them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in that case, I think that is, in fact, when Scribbler comes back.
Scribbler,
you hear just on the other side of the curtain, Scribbler, you hear what sound like coins clanking on the ground right before you pass through the curtain.
Look, we found lost change on the floor. Oh man. It's a shame that it's just left around here, all this lost change. Here is the change that you found on the floor also, and I give you the cut.
A momentary grace of mortal men. All right. Did you happen to find any other useful things?
Yeah, thank God you have money in Avernus now.
Well, you found a lever. We were going to wait till you arrived to pull it.
Of course you were. Very well. Let's pull the lever.
Before we pull the lever, I want to inspect it for traps, though.
Sure. Go ahead and make me. I will take wisdom, perception, or intelligence investigation.
Okay.
Lever strong.
23.
It does not look to be trapped in any way. It looks like as you examine the lever and the altar, what it looks to you like, you can see that the fingers of the hand are articulated. So your guess is that this lever is probably going to open the hand.
Okay. I'm going to give it a pull.
And indeed, that is what it does. You pull it. It's well oiled, so it goes pretty easily, and the hand opens so that it sort of palm up as now it sort of looks like a normal altar where you could rest things on, but it is in fact an open hand.
I'm glad it wasn't a. Why do we even have that lever?
Everyone falls through the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
High five it. You know it's your calling.
I know. Oh well. None of us have the requisite religious qualifications for any sort of services. So
I know, I sure don't.
Perhaps we should move to somewhere else to continue our investigations.
Good idea. There's nothing else we need here.
Certainly not going to find any.
How is Charity gonna find us?
Good question, Evie. That is an excellent question.
You good? Yeah, okay.
I mean,
It's okay. I trust him.
yeah, I think Charity.
Do I?
They are. Oh, I trust Charity.
Okay. And I trust you. So this is like a perfect kind of like a daisy chain of trust.
So, yes, that's how it works. All right. Well, I kind of like stand on my tippy toes to see if there's anything inside of that open hand when it opened, like any kind of altar objects or.
There was nothing on it. Are you inspecting it, or are you just looking to see if anything's on it?
I'm just inspecting it.
Okay, you can make a wisdom perception check if you like. There's nothing obviously on there, but
15.
being a rogue, you can. Yeah, so you take a closer look. There's nothing sort of resting on it. 15, you said?
Yeah.
There's for sure a big, like, person-sized panel, very well hidden in the palm of the hand.
Huh.
Right.
There's a panel here.
Okay.
Okay.
Give it a shove. See what happens.
I'm gonna like kind of like push my weight down on it, see what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, nothing happens, but you get the sense, looking more closely at it, that you can pull it open fairly
Oh,
easily.
okay. Then I'm going to pull it open instead.
Well, it doesn't have a sign on it.
It
so-
says pull in great big no. Yeah, so you pull it open and it flips
Door
over.
won't open.
You pull it over and it flips open, and you can see a staircase leading down.
Aha! My deductions were correct about this. Scribbler, I found a stairwell going down.
We should investigate then.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Should we wait for Charity?
No?
No.
Okay.
Oh. You sure?
Well, they said they'd be in an hour. We've been here all of 10 minutes. We have
It's
time
been pretty quick.
to investigate.
Probably been here like 15.
15 minutes, it feels like.
Sure. 15.
Well, if Scribbler feels that we should keep going, and I'm always one to explore unknown things. Who knows what we can find down there? Let's keep on going.
Indeed.
Sure.
And I make my way down these steps.
All right.
I'm going to put myself in the middle. In
With
the middle.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. I feel that. Pick your moments. All right. So the staircase heads down, sort of a down quite a ways. You eventually get to a landing, and the staircase turns, and another landing, and it turns back another 180 degrees. Eventually, however, you finally sort of reach down, and you can see that you are in. And I'm going to, at the break, which is coming up, I'm going to put this map available to you all and to the viewers, but I'll do that in a minute. Anyway, you're in this area. There are two hallways, one heading off to your left and one to your right. And directly in front of you, there are a set of stairs that lead up to what appears to be a small little isolated tomb. You can see a bier, B-I-E-R, with what appears to be a body lying on it, sort of up these stairs and at the back of the little tomb. It's just a couple of stairs up.
Look at the body. Is it freshly dead, or is it like a revered martyr or something like that?
Right. She looks quite fresh, we'll say.
Oh.
No obvious sort of wounds, no indication of a violent death. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, I am going to quietly make my way over to this body, and just kind of keep my head on swivel as I make my way over.
Sure. As you sort of head up the stairs and you get on the level with her, you can see that on the far side of her is resting a gleaming greatsword.
Hello, precious.
Oh, that is shiny. Evie.
Yeah, that's shiny.
Do you see that?
I see that. I see it.
Now, Evie, you are the world to me. However,
you are the world.
I may have to argue over you. May have to argue with you over that sword.
Can you pick it up?
Probably not.
It is in fact a great sword. That is not exactly your normal mode.
It is not. It actually, no, it isn't. But I could sell it for wonderful amounts of money.
Only if you're in the material plane.
I hate this place so much.
What if we sell
So
my
do I.
existing sword and split it?
I suppose we can do something like that. Okay. All right. Let's grab this. Well, let's grab it. Oh wait. Oh no! Before we grab this sword, wait,
I
Scribbler.
I don't. I'm not gonna grab it,
Okay, a few things.
but I wanna.
First, we have not assessed the overall situation well enough to understand the consequences of such an action. For
Well,
instance,
hurry up and assess, shiny sword.
it might be a holy relic, and if it
Yes.
doesn't like you, you may not enjoy the experience of grabbing it.
doesn't like me?
Scribbler, look at Evie. She is fresh. She is innocent and fresh as a fallen snow.
Everybody likes me.
Everybody likes Evie.
I agree that you have a likable personality.
Exactly. So I
However,
can grab the sword, right?
maybe we should check the sword out first to make sure that there aren't any magical or physical traps attached to it.
Get assessing then.
I suppose we can also do that first. I would be a terrible treasure hunter if I did grab the sword without looking for physical traps, while you, a wizard of high skill and caliber and amazing godlike powers, search for magical traps. I nudge you.
Just gonna like bounce from foot to foot impatiently.
This will take some time.
No.
And I will break up my my gemstone for assessing it.
All right.
I'm going to-
Identify, yeah.
Yeah.
Your ritual
As
casting?
a ritual?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So that's going to take 11 minutes. So we're going to... Oh my god, Evie just exploded. So...
He just like starts to melt from the inside out.
So we're gonna quickly pop down while Scribbler is working on this identify ritual. We're gonna quickly pop down to Imba and Charity. Charity, what you up to?
So I'm imagining Imba is underneath the hood of the vehicle.
Absolutely.
And Charity has taken position up in the driver's seat, kicked their feet up on the dashboard, and is just strumming, playing music.
What song?
It's already been established.
Uh-huh.
I shall not continue with
Okay.
it. But then like stops for a minute while playing,
Uh-huh.
and then starts to like really think about just like how far Zariel has fallen,
Sure.
and is starting to pluck out like some new chords that they haven't like played in that order before. They're trying to like come up with a new song.
So
Try and
as you stop and think about that, actually, before you start experimenting with the new chords, Imba pops her head out from the hood of the car, looks around, looks at you, and goes, "Uh-oh."
well,
Hide?
I like duck down a little bit in the car.
Great. And Imba sort of throws herself to one side and hides behind the car. And make me a wisdom perception check, Charity.
I don't like this. I rolled a 2.
Okay, cool. You don't hear anything. We'll find out what you don't hear when we come back from our break. Yeah.
Oh boy.
You'll find out what you don't hear when we come back from our break. We're going to take a little break, everybody. If it is morning for you, grab some coffee. If it's night, grab a drink. Everyone grab some water. Keep yourselves hydrated. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes to find out what Charity didn't hear. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We will be back shortly. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out and sticking with us. We are back here on Variant Rolls with Saturday Morning D&D in Hell Descent into Avernus. Most of our party is up on the city of Elturel that's been pulled into Avernus. Somehow they are exploring the High Hall and the cathedral in the center of the city. But we have momentarily popped back down to Charity and Imba, our tiefling and goblin party members who stayed behind on the ground in Avernus to hang out for a little while. And just before the break, Imba popped up from working on the hood, under the hood of the team's infernal war machine, and told Charity in no uncertain circumstances to hide. So Charity, why don't you go ahead and make me a dexterity stealth check, since you are sort of ducking down into the driver's seat of this war machine.
Sure thing. I'll certainly try.
Mm-hmm.
Stealth, you say?
I do.
Well, where was that before? 19.
Okay, so you didn't hear anything, but you trust Imba Chaos Granny's instincts, and so you duck down and are pretty well hidden. I should check for... Oh, Imba's fine as well. She's well hidden behind. And so you don't hear anything. You don't know what's happening until the war machine that you're in sort of rocks a little bit to the side, as if something hit it on one side, or nudged against it, or shoved it, or something on one side.
I'll poke a single little eye. I'll just over the door.
And you don't see anything, but it's so close now that you can't help but hear a sort of strange, sort of watery, gurgly breathing sound, and the occasional sort of dragging steps across the ground. And whatever knocked into the side of your war machine seems to be beginning to sort of make a circuit of it and head towards the back of the machine. But you can't see anything.
It's a good thing I totally have all of those spell slots that I totally didn't use in 20 minutes. Oh boy. Cool. And I don't have any charges on my rod anymore. Mm-hmm. So that's grandomatic. Can I cast Cry? I would like to cry.
Nat 20. So this thing continues its move around. It gets to the back of the machine. It's heading towards the side where Imba is currently ducked down and hiding.
I'm gonna grab Imba and just pull her up to the front seat.
She starts to let out natural 20. She starts to let a little squeak, but manages to tamp it down as you pull her up into the driver's seat and sort of shove her head down, so neither of you are in view.
Okay.
And she's just sort of looking at you going,
how did that go again? I'm wondering how often I can get you to do that.
More often than I would like, and probably less often than you would like.
I am going to just slowly peek out around the... You know what?
What?
I'm gonna try and cast I'm gonna poke out and try and cast Friends. The creature.
So many questions. But surely you have to see the thing, right?
It does not.
It sure doesn't say that you have to see the creature.
For the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed at one creature of your choice that isn't hostile toward you.
Read the
Right
next
now,
sentence.
When the spell ends, the creature realizes that you used magic to influence and becomes hostile towards you. Yep. So I'm gonna like tamper down everything.
Okay.
Okay. I pull out one of the soul coins and I hand it back to Imba.
Okay.
And I'm
She
going to
takes
try
it
and
looks
cast
confused.
Friends on this creature.
Okay.
This will be fun.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't get a save, so like the casting works, I guess. Okay. You still don't see anything. Whatever it is sort of has now nudged the opposite side of the war machine. And you hear it sort of stop moving and sort of like sniff at the air.
I'll just poke my head out and be like, shoo, 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 shoo. What is this thing?
I mean, it's not actively hostile to you at the moment, so okay.
As I poke my head out to look at this beastie.
Well, there's nothing there to see. A small amount.
What do you mean? What do you mean that there is nothing there to see?
Oh, I do have an important question for you, Charity. The material.
Oh my gosh.
The material component for this spell is a small bit of makeup applied to the face. What did you apply? To yourself, not to the creature. To be very clear.
So like those like kind of like sallow cheeks that kind of look like tarnish at this point.
Oh.
Just like it starts to like shimmer and look pristine and as if like I am just polished gold.
I'm totally here for charities.
Well, it looks good, and you say shoo shoo, and something on the side of the war machine sort of takes in a sharp breath and says, "But I must take word of this back."
To who, friend?
To my master.
And I'm sorry, who might you be? Imba, start the freaking car!
Oh, that's why you gave her the soul coin. I legitimately was like, why? What? Oh boy. So Imba, well, it's Imba, so she's all about driving the thing, I suppose. So she can start the war machine if you would like for her to. The creature that you cannot see says
it's just like invisible.
So it seems.
Oh, fun.
So it says oh, have you any more of these magnificent machines?
Oh, I'm not, but I know where you can get more.
Do tell.
Well, you see.
Are you? Go on.
A ways away, there is this like tavern. It's kind of just like a large thigh bone. We stole this from some idiot who left it parked.
Oh my
there should
God.
be plenty more back that way.
I will take a charisma deception check, please. You can have
To
advantage.
which
apparently.
I get advantage.
Yep.
Oh boy. I'm gonna cry. Deception, you say?
Deception, I say.
Rude of you.
Sorry, you're bald-faced lying, so...
I mean, we did steal this from a place nearby there. It's a 14. It's a 14 deception.
Thank you.
I know. The other one is a 4.
Let's see. Why do you lie, friend? No matter. Give me this one, and I will find others.
Oh my god.
The clock is also ticking on this 1 minute long spell.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm like, all right, there's more at a fort not too far from here. I don't know exact directions, but like,
He's
it'll be
just
fine.
selling out Maggie.
Fuck yeah.
One ally.
Yeah, right.
One friend in this entire wasteland.
One ally.
Ally, sure. Yeah.
Excellent. You can take me there.
Sure. Start the freaking car.
And she does. She starts the car at this point.
I just look back at her like,
Great. So she starts the car. Oh, she starts the car, and as it begins driving away, you hear like a grunt, and then you feel the back of the machine sort of like bounce as if something has leapt upon it.
Oh no.
give me a moment. You're going to have to give me a moment as I need to read through this spell.
As you do, you hear the creature, as you think about this, the creature says, excellent.
Oh, no.
How long until
Oh,
we
no.
arrive at the fort?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I meant you could follow along.
Well, I am riding along.
Oh, okay, here. Step up. Imba, the back part, please. And I'm gonna start untying the, just like drop the bike.
Oh, okay.
Catch the claw, undo that.
Oh god.
I can already hear Imba screaming from here.
Imba,
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Get to the bike. I'll be with you in a moment.
Okay. So she's okay. She'll climb up to the bike.
I take a long, deep breath.
Uh-huh.
And feeling that my concentration on this spell is about to end,
Yes.
I turn to it, and I'm going to cast Suggestion at 2nd level.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. That's a wisdom saving throw.
Yes, a
Okay.
wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Creatures that cannot be charmed are immune to this effect.
It is not immune. It is not immune.
This goes badly, you're gonna get slapped back to the material plane. Just bam.
That is a 17.
Can I use my DM inspiration to make him roll with disadvantage?
You can cancel the advantage that he had on that roll, sure.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. Oops. That's a 19.
I thought you said it cancels the advantage that he had.
It did. I re-rolled because I rolled with advantage, so I re-rolled.
Oh,
I mean, if you want me to take the lower of the other rolls, it was a 16.
that would be my save. All right. Well,
And hold on a second.
Oh, this-
Suggestion is concentration. So friends ends.
and I just I put my head down and say, "This just had to happen, didn't it?"
Man, I hope Charity's okay.
Was that, yeah, right. Okay.
Fine.
Anything else?
I would have liked to have said,
Sure.
"Here, drive away," and I would have given him the.
Right, but so now he's pissed. Now he's mad. And so you hear a sort of roar of anger, or a growl of anger, and the creature says, "Oh, trick me. I'll simply take your memories of the location.
And on that note, yeet. I am crying. I'm crying.
Yes. Now look, I've never truly understood what that word means, but I don't think that's it.
I yeet myself from this car. I jump out.
Great. All right, so you jump towards the bike, which Imba has now freed from the machine, or
No.
no, just
I go to the other side.
great.
I jump away from it so that Imba can get away.
Oh, all right. So you hear a roar as the bike tears off. You leap off the other side. As
I leap, I just scream, Imba, go!
as that happens, you feel a searing pain in your brain. You take 20 psychic damage, and I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh no.
No.
I will get rid of my DM inspiration that I had. Which of these two evils?
Meanwhile, I'm looking through a gemstone at the sword.
What was it?
Wait, hold on. I want this save, and then we'll come back to you all. This feels like as tense as this moment is, I really need to know what this save is.
So I have a +0 to my intelligence. I rolled a 7. Bye, friends. It was nice knowing.
Okay. So
it was all right.
So there's some good things and some bad things. Well, we'll get to the good things later.
I'm sweating. I hope you know I'm sweating. This is hell. This is hell for me.
Oh my gosh.
You have lost all of your proficiencies. You cannot cast spells. You cannot understand language.
Oh no.
And your intelligence and charisma scores are now 5.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I'll go and manually override
How long?
now.
Well,
I am just that way for right now, and I'll find out when that ends, when it ends, if it ends.
correct. I will say that it is not, I will at least tell you that it is not automatically necessarily permanent, though it's not an easy road back.
I'll keep in mind that I just, don't get any of my proficiencies or anything.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. We'll be good.
So, I'm not gonna choose for Imba how she, whether or not she your face. Oh, I'm not gonna choose for Imba whether or not she follows your command to go. So we'll figure that out. But we're gonna go ahead and hop back up to the chapel, to the cathedral.
I'm face down in the dirt at this point, just
excellent workmanship.
Right.
So this is in the background with Evie.
Wait, a moment.
Yeah. Yes.
How long into them being up there was that?
Oh, 15, 20 minutes probably.
Okay, cool. So none of my concentrations on fly, I would have felt fly end and be like, okay, so they're going to be up there a while.
Right.
All right, I can relax. And can't relax. Cool. What was, hiding.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So back up in the chapel, Scribbler is peering and finally begins to see some of the threads of magic that surround this thing. So you see a couple of things sort of attached to this greatsword, but the most important thing that I can tell you is that all of the magic that currently sort of surrounds the greatsword appears to be tied to the space that it is in. I can't think of a good way to say this, but the sword in and of itself is not magical. It's more about where it is, and you get the sense that if you remove it from where it is, its magic will probably not go with it. That said, it seems to be sort of radiating the effects of a gentle repose spell, sort of permanently. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that the sword is doing, but no, I think that's it.
So
what does it do?
the sword, the sword itself is not magical.
Oh, lame.
But it is tied to an enchantment that is locked to this location. I suspect that it's what's keeping that body looking fresh.
I want to look at the body and check it out.
Sure. It is an unarmored woman. She looks fairly, I don't know, nondescript. She's what? Oh my god. This is what happens when I look away. Wait, I just want to fix it a little. Oh, we actually can't see too much more of it. That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Oh no.
It's perfect. She's nondescript woman, wearing robes. That's human.
Very dead though.
Oh, for sure dead. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very dead.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, if we took this sword and suddenly this body just suddenly decomposed, that's.
But there's no point taking it if
there really isn't any point taking the sword. That's for sure. I mean, if it's not magical and it's not worth anything, it's just a normal greatsword, honestly.
Yeah, it's just normal greatsword, right?
Other than that, it's just a normal greatsword.
Yeah.
No, that's boring.
Mine's got runes and shit on it, so.
I mean, you already have a better greatsword than this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Besides, if you were dead, you wouldn't want somebody to take your sword off of your grave, would you?
Oh, no, I'd be totally fine with it.
Yeah, no, that sounds fine.
I was actually asking Evie. But...
Yeah, no, totally fine. I mean, what's a sword doing on a grave anyway? It can't stab anyone there. A sword is made to be stabbed with.
Stab the sword.
Stab the sword.
So, some people do very important items to people in their lives when they're dead. So that's probably why it's here.
And
my
some
question.
people take those.
Yes, like us. But here's the question: what is this preserved human? It is human, right? Or is it?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
okay.
human.
What is this preserved human body doing in here?
There's got to be an inscription somewhere in the room, right?
There actually isn't. There's nothing, which is odd.
So, all right.
How Charity's doing?
I'm gonna check.
Charity's fine. Charity's fine. Don't worry.
Check my knowledge of Elytrel and the orders and such, and I can figure out who this is supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take an intelligence history.
Or not.
Oh no. I mean,
12.
It's a pretty specific thing.
Yeah.
So nothing comes to mind about a
dead
robed woman with a greatsword.
To be fair, I rolled a 4 and I still get a 12.
Right. That's
so. Yeah.
It was meant to be that you knew nothing more. Yeah.
So there's definitely nothing else in here, though, right?
No, not in this area. There were the hallway sort of continued on to the left and the right from where you came down the stairs, but definitely nothing else down there.
All right, well, we could check the other hallways then. Looks like
I make a note in my journal about the location and everything.
Sure.
All right, we'll check those other hallways then.
All right. Which one? To the left or to the... Well, we'll say to the north and to the south, just so that as you all change directions, I don't have to keep changing which one's which.
To the south?
Sure. So you head down south. You eventually get to an area that appears to have sort of 3 sets of hallways leading off of it to the east, west, and yet further south. I should have. Let me see if I can do this quickly and efficiently.
I look at these 3.
Oops.
Scribbler.
Yes.
In your infinite wisdom of hallways, which do you think we should go?
You can just ask my opinion. You don't actually.
I could, but I want to make it sound like you're being useful.
Oh. Oh.
Which I appreciate so much.
Well, I think we should perhaps wander in a Windershin's direction.
I lean over to Evie, like, what is a Windershin's direction, Evie? I just go, ooh, right, yes, let's go that way. And I just take the one on the far right.
Yep.
Okay, give me 1 second because I've almost. Oh my god, you're ridiculous. I love it. How am I gonna do this? Here we go. And then I will press this button. Okay. So, I'm going to toss the whole map up to you all in the Discord, but I've got a little portion of it up for you all.
Oh, yes, hello.
Ooh.
So, if you all can see where in the center of what I've got up on the screen, I'll put it in the Discord here in a second.
Cool.
Why is it saying?
Oh, okay, cool.
Here we go. Here we go. In the center is where that stairwell is. You all headed south, and you've got the 3 directions that you can go, and you're heading to the east there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So as you head over to the east, you find something. You can see that the hallway then splits off again, turning towards the north, or you can continue on.
I guess we'll head towards the north?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head up north and you end up sort of heading towards this larger area here. This looks like sort of the main crypt area of the what is clearly sort of the catacombs of this cathedral. And you see in here there are dozens of frightened people cowering behind sarcophagi in alcoves, and they are all sort of trying their best to be utterly silent. Their eyes are, to a person, their eyes are red and their cheeks stained with tears as they try and keep themselves quiet. They are clearly terrified. Standing in front of a large font. Oh, I can sort of scoot this over so we can see more of this. Standing in front of a large font sort of in the center of the room, there are a couple of them. You can see a haggard woman, her hair gray and matted with sweat. And with one arm, she clutches a leather-bound tome tightly to her chest, and in the other hand she wields a what is clearly a beautiful but ceremonial mace that looks like it's gonna shatter if it strikes anything harder than a pillow maybe, but it's lovely. It looks beautiful.
I nudge Scribbler and was like, see, you made the right decision, pal.
Book reader.
Book reader. Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Found a book.
Yeah.
Greetings.
Ding ding.
They all jump, and the woman sort of raises her mace higher.
Oh no, honey, that's okay.
No,
We're okay.
we are friends and allies. We are not one of the devils that have been running around upstairs doing evil. We come in peace. I take off my hat.
It's probably a good thing that Charity's not with you at this particular moment in time. Perfect.
Charity is busy drooling right now.
Yes.
Drooling
I
in the
give
dirt.
I give a flourish of a bow.
I love it.
We are here for no harm, no ill will to be towards you. We are actually looking for survivors such as yourselves.
All blessings of your gods upon you. We have come seeking to find out what is going on in the city and why it is in hell.
Yes, blessings.
And if we can totally get you back, we will.
That too. We were going to try our.
Like, we're not just sticky bacon. Like there was a whole intent behind that. We're not just looky loose.
No, yes, it's true. We did have the full intent to try to rescue. We weren't going to just come in here and just.
Yeah, we weren't going to show up and be like, oh yeah, you're here, you're in hell. We know why now. Bye.
No, we weren't going to do anything like that.
She takes all of this in because it's a lot. And she sort of shakes her head and she says, well, I'm not sure how you intend to help, but I suppose I'm glad that you're here and it's not more of those fiends.
Well, we're all on the same page then.
Yeah.
We're not sure how we're going to help, and we're also glad that we're not fiends.
What happened here?
She says, well, when the city was brought to this hellscape, many fled to the cathedral for safety. We held it for some time against the various fiendish incursions, but we were overrun. It was only a matter of time. We fled down here, and so far none have followed to threaten us, though we do believe that it again is really only a matter of time. It wasn't so long ago that Grand Duke Ravengard, took a group of guards to investigate what's been going on to the city's Grand Cemetery, he said. You see, when we first arrived, there was a proliferation of wandering undead in that area, and we had reports that ghasts and ghouls and zombies were wreaking havoc in addition to the fiends that had begun to incur upon the city. I expected him back some time ago, but he hasn't yet returned.
Evie, you missed out on hitting a zombie.
I know, but there'll be more zombies. It's always more zombies. That's what I've learned. If I've learned anything from my years as a mercenary, there are always more zombies.
So, well, I'm glad that you're all safe. Quick question, though. What's the deal with the lady in the box and the sword upstairs? Oh, down the hall.
She looks sort of confused for a moment, and then she sort of understands. And she says, the unknown hero, you mean? The story goes that she came to Elturel years before the companion. She arrived and slew a dragon that had been eating livestock and burning crops and demanding tribute from the city. She sauntered up, swung the great sword, and flew away. And rather, she slew it before it could fly away. As the populace of the city went to thank and congratulate her, she fell to the ground, dead. It's unknown what happened with her, but we laid her to rest here in the cathedral, and it seems she has never returned to dust, as it were, so we hold that place for her.
Interesting.
Heart trouble. Happened to me uncle.
Really glad that you didn't take
dropped
her
dead.
sword. Would have been a very awkward situation right now.
Oh gosh, Evie.
I don't mean to be ungrateful or forward, but you said that you were here to help, and I wonder how in fact you plan to do so.
We have a wizard, and I kind of like do this towards a scribbler. A wizard who said that he may have an idea how to get you out of here. Isn't that right, Scribbler?
Indeed. Who are your most defenseless?
Well, many of the young here, the young and the infirm here, we've stabilized them, but they most certainly could not make a long trek to escape. That's been part of the problem, is that we've not really properly been able to make a run for it, as it were, though I don't really know where we would go.
Well, I can try something that should work. If it doesn't work, it won't do any harm. Mm-hmm. If it does work, it should send them back to the material plane.
Fantastic. Any help that you can give would be incredibly appreciated.
I can only do this so often per day, however, so this may be a not great solution long term. But we can try it at least with someone you think would be a good choice, who might be able to go and tell people what happened.
Certainly, that's a different category of people than I was thinking of before. But yes, perhaps spreading the word that we are in fact still here and in need of assistance could maybe bring us help in the long term. Yes. let's give me a moment, and I'll. How many did you say? One?
I can only send one at a time, and it is the most difficult spell I know.
Well, I very much appreciate your willingness. Give me a moment to speak to some people here, and I'll bring back who I believe to be the most likely candidate to be able to get help for us. And she sort of goes off towards a couple of the huddles of people and begins sort of kneeling down and talking to folks.
I look over at Evie. I look at Evie. So, heart failure. Like, you just ate a lot?
Yeah, it's like you've got to really watch what you eat. It can't be like fatty food will do it too. He was a big fan of like spit roast meat. This was on my orcish side. This was on the orcish side, not the human side. Whole roast spit meats are just.
I had a friend who ate too much sweet food and they had to chop off their foot. It was a shame.
All right. So she comes back. She comes back and has a young woman with her that she says she thinks would be the best candidate to be able to go. She's a young acolyte of the cathedral. Not she hasn't been here long. She's not particularly trained in the ways of the church, but she knows enough about everything that's sort of gone on here since the city arrived in Avernus to be able to spread the important information and hopefully get some help.
Do you want to hand her a letter or something?
It's not a bad idea, yes. And she sort of looks around and she, for a moment, sort of considers the book in her hands, and then she sort of clutches that tight.
I hand her my cartography kit.
She nods gratefully. She sort of goes over to one of the fonts and leans on it, careful not to get the parchment in the water that's in the font. Leans on it and just writes out a quick note, folds it up, and hands it to the woman that she brought over, who tucks it in a little belt pouch.
Very well. I will attempt this. And I break up my staff and I ask her name.
Which she gives freely, of course. Her name... Oops. There we go. Her name is Etet.
Etet?
Etet.
How are you spelling that?
I-T-E-T.
I-T-E-T?
Mm-hmm. She looks very nervous. Hey, thanks for the follow, Starbreeze13. We appreciate it. That is one closer. If anybody else hasn't followed the channel, we want to hit 1,000 by New Year's. Go do the thing.
All right.
Hello, us.
Etet. They call me Scribbler, and I will be casting a spell right now that should return you to your home plane.
She takes a deep breath. Thanks for the follow, Harris. She takes a deep breath and nods.
And using my staff and doing a gesture, and there's a faint blue triangle in a circle symbol as he rotates it back and forth to sort of forms the circle around her and banishment.
Okay. I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. I love it. I love it. So she sort of takes a deep breath and squinches her eyes shut, and there is a faint popping noise, and she disappears. And the woman with the book that you were speaking to before sort of looks around and says to you, "Is it done? Is she home?"
I need to hold it for a minute. And you see me sort of rotating my hand in midair as I seem to be making arcane gestures to maintain the spell.
I love it. So you just see every now and again parts of the runes that you've created in the air around her sort of flare and flash as you maintain your words spell. Excellent. And so a minute passes, and the runes fade from the air. And I mean, I suppose if everyone can see them, then the woman is aware that indeed a minute has passed.
Yeah. And technically, she would have had to make a Christmas save, but I suspect she just failed it on purpose.
Yeah, I think so. She allowed whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
If I maintain it for a minute, she's back in her home plane.
Okay. So she is back there, and hopefully will bring news of the fate of Elturel to someone who can help.
Yeah.
Meantime, the woman in front of you with the mace and the book sort of takes a big deep breath and sighs and says, well, nothing to it but more waiting, but at least now there is a chance that more formidable help will arrive. I cannot thank you enough. I wish that we had something to offer you in thanks, but we have
we don't expect you to give us anything.
No, we don't need anything from you.
We know you probably don't have anything.
When this happened, it looks like the companion has turned into a black star as opposed to the light star. Do you know what caused that? Was there some sort of effect that led up to it? Was there any other clues that you could help us to determine what has caused this in the first place? Maybe we can counteract it in some manner.
She sort of says, no, I really can't say. I wasn't outside when the companion changed. But from the reports that I've received, the companion turned dark, as you have undoubtedly noticed, and it was not long after Grand Duke Ravengard arrived, and it turned black, began to crackle with that lightning, and there was a sort of a feeling of falling that everyone in the city sort of experienced at the same time. The sky went black, and the next thing we knew, everyone in the city... And she thinks about that for a minute, and she says, actually, no, that isn't true. It wasn't everyone in the city. Certain people didn't end up coming with us, but anyway, most people in the city were brought here, found ourselves in the sky above what I've been told is the River Styx in hell.
Also, when we first arrived here, we noticed a lot of fiendish iconography in the walls. Was that always here?
She says, no, something about the influence of this place has begun to warp and change some of the holy bits of the cathedral. The more powerfully consecrated places seem to be holding up and resisting, but the simple inscriptions and carvings and representations of Torm have begun to change.
Yeah, you're still, the city is still falling also, and you are right above the river. We don't want to go in the River Styx.
It's kind of the last thing we want to happen.
Yeah.
Just as well, I don't know much about it, but from what I've heard, yes, I fully and wholeheartedly agree that that's probably not the best situation to end up in, yes.
Yes, I mean, we've heard stories about what happened to people who get submerged into the River Styx. They just become...
And she sort of shudders and says, I'd rather not think about it, to be honest.
I mean, that's the last thing we would want to wish upon any one of our friends.
Could you imagine how horrible that would be? Just,
It must be terrible.
Yeah.
I shudder at the thought.
I would find that this discussion is perhaps disadvantageous to our friend's composure at this moment.
She definitely doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
Perhaps we should continue the discussion rather than later.
Sinking.
Right.
Maybe, okay, we would love to get you all out of here, like, expeditiously. If we can't, it would be good to have like an evacuation plan before anybody hits the river.
She says absolutely, but from all reports that I've seen, short of flying or attempting to climb down those awful chains in full view of any flying fiends that cares to come by. I'm not sure how we can manage that.
We should perhaps search further for a way to break the enchantment before you reach that point.
Yeah. How many are there here? How many
Oh,
survivors
several
are in the...
dozen that you can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other alcoves inside the city where people might have been holding out?
She sort of thinks for a minute, and she says, "Well, I've not been outside since everything sort of happened, and we fled down here. So I can't say how any of them are holding up. But there were a few buildings in the marketplace on the eastern side of town that were rather larger and might have held up and had secure locations. But beyond that, I can't think of any place in the city that would have been as safe and as central as this cathedral.
Also as holy, which probably helps.
The cemetery would have been hallowed, but unfortunately that didn't seem to hold up if reports of the undead coming from there were true.
Are there any teleportation circles in the city?
None in the High Hall that I'm aware of, and this would have been the place as the seat of government where we would have had one. I suppose it's possible that a few of the magisters might have had some in their own chambers for their own purposes, but in terms of sort of publicly known ones, at least to us, to the clergy, and to the general populace, not that I'm aware of, no.
Where would the magisters' chambers be?
Probably back if you... the High Hall, outside of the cathedral, the sort of towers that surrounded the wall around this area, they held some dormitories and rooms for visiting dignitaries, and for some of our magisters who preferred to remain closer to the seat of government when sessions were occurring.
It's good to know. We have a limited timetable for our investigations right now. We are currently pursuing certain alternative solutions to the current predicament. Would any of your people be able to cast sendings?
She sort of shakes her head and she says, I don't believe so. As far as I'm aware, I'm the sort of highest ranking of the clergy that's left here, at least in this portion of the cathedral. I don't know that anyone else has survived. I'm sure they would have made it down here by now, and that spell is well beyond my ability.
Okay. Let me think for a moment.
Of course. I can't thank you enough.
I'm going to kind of lean into the captain and just whisper, didn't we say something about the rods before?
Yes, we feel like the rods, if we place them into that thing up there, may do something, but it feels like we need more than what we already have.
Let's go back, find some more rods, and create a new enchantment, break an enchantment. I don't know.
I suspect that it may be some sort of lock that they actually unlock.
Maybe if we unlock the lock.
Rods aren't going to be in this city.
We have several locations where we know the rods are at. And we could go get those rods, come back here and see if, it fixes the enchantment.
I mean, I don't know that we have a better plan.
I have nothing else, honestly.
Yeah.
Very well.
I mean, I hate just leaving him here, but...
Agreed.
The woman says, I understand if that's what needs to be done. We've held up here for this long. Your arrival and being able to send Etet out has given us a bit of hope to hang on to for at least a little while. And knowing that you're out there doing your best to find some way to return us, hope is a powerful thing. It certainly won't save us from a demon or a devil that arrives and is, to coin a phrase, hell-bent on destroying us, but it should stave off some of the more insidious despair and hopelessness that we were beginning to feel.
I will endeavor to, next time I am able to refresh the spells that I can cast for a day, add sending to my repertoire so that I can periodically at least try once a day to contact you and see if there's any changes. I can't guarantee you I'll be able to because my casting is limited and sometimes we find ourselves in fights. But if I can, I will reach out to check on you while we continue to search for a solution to the problem.
Well, I can't tell you how comforting and how helpful that would be. I really... and she thinks for a moment. She says, well, it's not much, but I could at least offer you something that might prove helpful in this damned place. And she turns to the font that she's been standing next to, and she sort of gestures to it and says, if you've got anything to fill, we have plenty of holy water. I've done my best to consecrate whatever we were able to find. It's not much of a defense, but it's something, and you're welcome to it, to some of it, if that's helpful to you. It's the best I can offer, but I can't tell you what your presence has done for us.
Oh, thank you very much. I will take an empty water skin and just try to fill that up with some holy water.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a flask. I'll fill it up with holy water.
Great.
Actually, I'll fill up a small flask as well.
All right, great. She sort of sighs, and she sort of nods to you all, and she says, "Thank you. Of course, getting home is what we really all want." But and she sort of taps the book that she's got. She says, "But it's also important to everyone here that home gets home as well. So,
may I?
You can do yes."
Your book. May I see it? Is it a chronicle or?
She sort of smiles and she says, "No, it's not terribly interesting reading. This is the tome of the Creed Resolute. You see, all citizens of Eltergard, when they're old enough to read, take the creed. They take the oath of the Creed Resolute, which is an oath that we all take to defend Elturel body and soul. When someone comes of age and is able to read, they come to the cathedral, they place their hand here on the tome and swear the oath, and their name is entered into it." And she sort of opens it up and shows you, and you just see a list of names that all sort of seem to be written in the same very fine, very neat hand.
Very well. I would, if we had more time, I would appreciate a chance to examine the creed and the contents of such a book, but I'm afraid we do not have that much time.
Well, when you return us and send us home, you're always welcome, and perhaps
Thank
we can
you.
arrange such a study then, once this is all over. And you can tell she's just trying to be like sort of over the top positive about the outcome, because clearly they need something to latch onto.
Oh yeah. Well, Evie, Captain, I believe we should go back to the surface and do some exploration before we are joined by Charity. It will be easier to find on the surface.
I agree. Well,
Onward. Charity said they'd be coming up here, but
They said it would be an hour. I feel that we are getting close to that.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably. I mean, but between all the exploring and the wandering around, and then this whole conversation, casting the, picking out Etet, casting the spell, doing all of this, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes in.
I mean, how much trouble could Charity have gotten into?
Charity,
I know, right?
Charity will be fine.
But you said you've got a thing that can stop us from falling fast, so we could totally just.
Sure. If Charity doesn't show up after a few minutes, we
Yeah.
can go down to just find out what happened.
All right, well, ma'am, and I give a bow and I place my hand on her shoulder and say, they say a person needs those three things to be truly happy in this world: something to love, something to do, and something to hope for. keep that in mind as we leave you and hope for the best for you.
Wise words. We've got two of those in spades. It's the something to do that has rather stymied us, but we'll manage. Thank you, 3, so very much.
I wish we brought Imba with us. Actually,
I'm gonna give. I've got a dice set. I'm gonna give them my dice set.
Yeah,
and now you have something to do.
And I give like if there's a little kid there, I give them a deck of one of my deck of cards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I tell the and he goes, I was like, now see this deck of cards is a special deck, and I show them that is actually a deck for cheating, and I explain to them how to use it properly. And like, now don't tell the other kids about this.
You absolute monster.
Yes, good.
Really good. All right, fantastic. Okay, so you all head back upstairs. Is out of the cathedral? Where are we heading? Sorry.
Up to the grounds, I would think.
Yeah,
okay.
Up to the ground level
and back outside to that courtyard area.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And so up there you head. You don't sort of run into anyone or anything, and you make it out there. And it's probably 5 or 10 minutes before, in theory, Charity's supposed to be meeting you all. Anything to do but wait for the clock to run out?
I guess so.
I mean, explore?
Sure, you're more welcome to.
I would rather that we did not explore this.
I've scared you all now that
area.
All but feeble-minded poor Charity.
I mean, I know Evie would love to have a chance to stab something, so.
I would love to smack them things, but this city is full of lots of them.
I mean, there's a lot of.
There are a lot.
And I may enjoy hitting things with my sword, but I'm tactical enough in my martial pursuits.
I'm just a coward, so.
I'm merely trying to look out for your inclinations, my dear.
Oh. Mm-mm.
Oh, I missed one. Sorry. Thanks for the follow. One Stop Tabletop. That's I'm just a coward. That might be my favorite one. All right. So are we? We're not exploring.
No.
Right.
Go and hang out in the courtyard, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under the beautiful Avernian sun. No. So time ticks by. The hour passes. An hour 5 passes. No sign of Charity.
They're probably asleep. They probably fell asleep.
I mean,
they were doing a lot of stuff, and they did expend a lot of energy.
We may have to explore anyway, because apparently we will have to reach the edge of the city for me to be able to do the featherfall.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Let's get to the edge, and let's make sure we don't jump into the river Styx.
All so sad.
Yeah. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Right, so you all head back towards the sort of northwest corner of the city. Can I have each of you, please, just roll a flat d20 for me, if you would?
Sure.
Before you give me the numbers, hold on to them. But before you give me the numbers, are you trying to be stealthy? Are you walking?
I am being
noise. How are we moving?
I am being the most stealthy thing in the world. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm being as stealthy as Scribbler ever is.
Sure.
I'm
fair.
being as stealthy as somebody in chain heavy armor can.
Great. So hold on to those d20s. Give them to me in a moment. But first, go ahead and everybody give me dexterity stealth checks with whatever disadvantage any of you need to apply.
It's in a disadvantage, yeah.
23.
23. Great.
Give me
7.
It's bad.
7. Okay.
Oh,
Let me just.
we
I'm gonna
haven't
tell you
reached
how bad.
yet, but go ahead.
It's bad. Well, I actually have pretty high. I have a pretty high.
You do
plus
have a
to
decent
stealth.
bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that I rolled a 2.
Yeah.
So that's 6.
Good. All right. So 6 and 7 and 23. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with Julius. Will you give me your flat d20 number, please?
My flat D20.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 15.
It was a 15. Okay.
Yes.
And you had a 20 something. So
I had a 23 stealth.
Got it. Scribbler, what was your D20?
1.
Excellent. That's actually good. And Evie.
20.
20. That's less good.
Wait, what?
It's my one natural 20 today.
I love it. Okay, so goodness.
I fucked this, didn't I?
Well, I just remembered something.
Oh no.
No. It's gonna be a good thing, but I need you all to sort of. I'm not sure in what direction it's gonna be a good thing. I completely forgot about our 2 NPC companions, Lulu and whatever the devil's name is. Now,
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that the devil stayed down on the ground for all of this.
Sure.
But what did Lulu do? I mean,
Oh, no.
I will tell you that her
Lulu's with
preference
us.
would have been to
Lulu's-
come with you all just because,
Yeah.
like, Scribbler
Yeah.
and Evie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lulu probably went with us because
with us.
I mean, her and Scribbler are joined at the hip, so
Okay. So, in that case, unfortunately, Lulu has not regained much of her spellcasting ability, so she couldn't actually offer anything that you all didn't already offer to the people down in the catacombs. But good to know that she is with you, because what you all happen to sort of be wandering around. Hold on. Yeah. As you all are walking and trying so hard to be stealthy, you sort of turn a corner and you see this medium-sized, armored devil sitting on the back of a nightmare. And it doesn't immediately spot you, and as soon as Lulu sees it, she sort of squeaks and just sort of shakes her head and is like, I'm just gonna go ahead and roll. Oh, that's good. That's good for you all. It's a shitty perception roll by this creature. So what are you all in this split-second sort of moment of terror?
I picture us doing it like a scene in the Breakfast Club when they're going down the hallway and they all skid to a stop and he just runs back the other way.
Back the other way. Yeah. back the other way.
All right.
Is that an Aaron use? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So you head back the other way. Let's do this. Why don't you all make me... Are you heading back and just going another direction? Are you heading back and, like, hiding? What's the plan
I think we need to go another direction because if he has not spotted us, we have no reason to hide. That's what I think.
He crit failed on his perception check, so...
I will suggest that we just try to find another direction to go. So
Yeah,
no
different
sense.
route.
Okay, totally fine. So in that case, you all are able to sort of circumnavigate this Narzagon Cavalier.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, would have been real bad. And fortunately, like I said, he crit failed his perception check, and Lulu was with you to sort of alert you to the problem. So you all then, in that case, do in fact make it to the edge of the city where you all flew up in the first place.
Yeah.
So this is this spell. Will it work?
Well,
Sure hope so if you're gonna jump off the edge.
I mean,
if it doesn't, we won't have long to worry about it.
That's exactly right.
very true.
That's true. All right. Well, I trust you,
Go.
Scribbler, and I nod.
All right. Let's all jump.
Okay.
God.
Linking arms.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, link arms.
We're gonna link arms because Evie's gonna get as much of a run up as she can because we don't want to land in the river.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So Evie's gonna just like propel us out as far as possible.
Okay, great.
Like
I love that.
arms linked, Evie's.
Great. Why don't you go ahead and give me a strength athletics check, Evie? It's not super difficult because you are sort of on an edge that is close to the banks of the river, so you're probably don't crit fail.
No, it's not a crit fail. It's in the 20s.
Oh yeah. Okay. So no problem. You managed to launch yourselves far enough off that you're not super worried about.
And as we launch off, I grasp my implement, my staff, and rotate, and we are all surrounded by the sort of circle with a triangle blue as we drop slowly.
It's lovely to behold.
Yeah. It is actually 60 feet per round till the spell ends.
That's pretty good. And the spell lasts for how long?
A minute.
Oh yeah, plenty of time. Great. Excellent. All right. Well, in that case, you all managed to fall. There are a couple of times where various fiends and such sort of get maybe closer than you would like, but frankly, you all just are sort of falling and clearly heading away from the city, and most of the flying fiends that you see are sort of very clearly on a mission and heading towards the city or whatever. So none of them bother you, and you are able to reach the ground. And well, I can't tell you what you see because I don't know yet. It all sort of depends on. I just, like I said, I refuse to make that decision for Dobbs and Imba. So we will find out what you see, I guess, next week.
Oh boy!
As we gently touch down.
And wait, do we at least
Mike,
the car move?
Is it cars? Wait, stop it, dude. Where's my car?
Well, that's sort of right. So that's my assumption. My very strong assumption is that at the very least, the big war machine is probably gone.
Machine is gone.
Yeah. So that much I will say you all do notice.
Julius just like let out like this shriek of like, "Where's the car?"
Walking's better for us anyway.
I will say,
Tell me.
You guys probably do see Charity just kind of like face down, lying.
Well, that's the question, right? Because
we don't know what.
If
Imba has tried to help me,
right? So if Imba took your order and just took off,
booked it, yeah.
Then they probably see you on your own in the middle of somewhere. If she decides to come back for you, then there are a couple of options of what you all might see. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I think that's where we will call it for this week. Mike, you're a star. Thank you for hanging out semi-feeble-minded. I'm not sorry, but I thank you anyway.
I am well aware of what I did.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I'm not, it's a good story. It was great storytelling, my friend. Awesome. All right, let us go around and do some introductions once again. Let us know who you are, where we can find you on the interwebs, and one of your favorite moments from this morning's game. We will go in reverse order and start with Julius, with Wally.
Hello, my name is Wally. You can find me on the internet as Wally132 on Twitter. Go by he, him. Oh boy, what was my favorite moment today? I definitely have to say, oh man, this is kind of patting my own back, but I just love the interactions Evie and Julius had this episode. They were playing so well off each other. So I'm just giving a shout out to Evie for this because they were just playing so well off each other. Like their personalities kind of like throw back and forth with each other. It worked very well. I loved it.
I love that. Absolutely. Hopping down in our reverse order to Jeremiah, to Scribbler.
I'm Jeremiah McCoy, he, him again, and you can find me online doing all the things. And I liked that there were several moments, and in particular the one that illustrates it best, that were sort of in the movie in our heads. Mm-hmm. We saw the scene and them breaking open the alms box.
Yep.
And the reaction of the Scribbler comes walking in and says, "Oh, hey, look at all these things we found on the floor." And I in the movie in my head, that was a nice sort of
beautiful moment. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, apparently, nothing bad happens when we split the party.
Oh yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
It's good.
That's
yeah.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Good plan. Let's do that more often.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody had to stay with Imba.
and Cricky.
And Cricky.
And Cricky.
Cricky.
Who was completely useless and just like hid and then like hid underneath the war machine, just like hanging on.
Oh no!
Oh no!
And,
Have we lost Cricky?
I think probably when Cricky saw Charity hit the ground, Cricky probably let go. So again, we'll just have to see what Imba does to see how that went. I love it. All right, let's keep going around to Alex and Evie.
Hello, I am Alex, she, her. You can find me on the internet at Alex Catu. I played Evie, and my favorite moment today was definitely start the friggin' car. Charity
That's real
realized
good.
they were
That's real
in
good.
deep shit. Like just the fear.
It was real good.
Uh,
I love that. And last but not least, Mike and Charity.
Hi guys, I'm Mike. You go by he, him pronouns, and I'm playing they, by they, them.
Oh.
And you can find me on Twitter at Enzo Michael, ENZO Michael, and then on Instagram at Mike What the Hell. And my favorite moment was the that movie in your head Scooby-Doo moment of Captain Julius just jumping into Edie's arms and gliding down to the alms box and going to rip it open like a box of Scooby snacks as Scribbler just, I will take the stairs, and just gently walks down as they're just like...
Absolutely.
I
love it all. And once again, my name is Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighbor, friendly-ish neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands.
Fiendly-ish.
Fiendly-ish, yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at DM Jazzy Hands. I'm also the dungeon master for an actual play podcast called The Last Refuge. You can follow us on Twitter at DND Last Refuge. I was mean to them in our most recent recording. I have how many weeks of episodes? I don't think I can say anything about what just happened because episodes have not been released that lead up to it, but I was not nice to them either, so it's not just you guys. That's me. That's where you can find me on the interwebs. I'm gonna go ahead and the three of you who went up to the cathedral at one point or another all had really lovely role-playing moments, particularly once you all found those people and sort of figured out ways to help them and interact with them. I loved the giving of the cards and the dice, and of course everything that Scribbler did to the idea to send someone to inform people. So all three of you can have inspiration for that. Mike, you get inspiration just for hanging around and being feeble-minded and not, so take that. Cool channel stuff. You're all amazing. Thank you all so much, those of you who have been watching, for coming to hang out on a Saturday morning, Sunday, very early morning if you're Alex, midday I suppose if we've got any viewers from the UK. If you haven't already, we've gotten 3 new follows this session so far in these 3 hours. If anybody else is left that hasn't followed the channel, hit the little heart button at the top to follow the channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, and we only need 36 more. So thank you to Starbreeze13, Harris X, and One Stop Tabletop who joined our follow list today. We appreciate that. Also, if you don't already, you can also follow the channel on Twitter at Variant Roles. We always tweet out information about what's coming up for our schedule for that, and we do in fact have a very full schedule here on Variant Roles. Lots of games every week, not all D&D, all kinds of different tabletop systems, so all kinds of cool stuff to check out, and that's why you should follow us, so you get notified when stuff happens. Oh, is Dan here? If Dan's here, Dan, send me a DM in Discord, because I just saw something on the calendar that we have not discussed, and I don't think we're doing, but I want to make sure. Anyway, assuming we're not doing that, there's a mixtape episode tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, so if you all want more Variant Roles goodness, you can come back then. Also, if you're willing and able to support the channel in other ways, of course, we appreciate your presence and your tweets and your follows and all of that. If you want to do a little more and can, we have a Patreon for the channel, patreon.com/variantroles, or subscribing to the channel also helps us out a ton. The channel and the community has grown leaps and bounds since I joined when we did Waterdeep Dragon Heist just over a year ago.
Dragon Heist.
No mixtape tonight. Okay, great. And I assume the other thing that is listed right after this is also not happening because none of you have materials for that. So great. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we appreciate it. This has grown leaps and bounds since Dragon Heist, and it's all because of you amazing folks that play with us and that watch us and that follow us and that support us in any way that you can. We super, super appreciate it. So we are going to go, speaking of support and following, we are going to go and raid some folks. Let's pop over to, I think let's go to the Greyhawk channel. They're in the midst of something that sounds super awesome called Dreadwood Fairy Tales, which, I don't know, that sounds cool to me. So we're going to hop over there. If you want more tabletop role-playing goodness, hang out. We're going to head over to them in just a moment. Once again, thank you all so much for playing. We will be back here next week. Same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. What time is it actually when we start for you, Alex?
Let me guess, like 1.
It's, oh my god, because time change. You're a hero. And so is Harris, who I think is also from Australia, right?
Hars is my mate from high school.
Great. I love that. Well, I'm so glad that you're both here with us. You're heroes, you're stars. We're going to go ahead and raid the Greyhawk channel, hang out with them, put a big hype in the chat when we arrive so that they know we're there. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. And until then, happy gaming, y'all. Oh, I did the thing again. 10 seconds. Anyway, thanks for watching and thanks for watching and happy gaming, y'all. Gotcha.